Ever since Trump became president, he has created a lot of turmoil in the whole world. Imagine waking up to the news that your life in America is over. No warning, no appeal, just a sudden order to leave the country you've called home for years. This is the reality for millions of immigrants from 10 countries following President Trump's latest executive order. In the next 40 minutes, we'll dive deep into the stories, the data, and the global reactions to this unprecedented move. So basically, in today's video, we are going to show you Trump orders nationals of 10 countries to leave US immediately. Why these 10 countries? Who's affected? And what does this mean for America's future? Stay with us as we uncover the truth behind this policy and the human cost it carries. But before starting the video, I want to request you, we put our best efforts to create our every single video. So please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Let's start. Number 10, El Salvador. El Salvador, a nation plagued by gang violence. Carlos, a construction worker, fled the danger and now faces deportation along with approximately 1.4 million Salvadoran immigrants. According to the Census Bureau, Salvadoran immigrants have a median income of $40,000 and are often employed in essential industries like construction, hospitality, and healthcare. In fact, Salvadoran immigrants contribute over $30 billion annually to the U.S. economy, and their tax contributions support local schools, infrastructure, and public services. Trump's administration cites gang activity, with the president stating, "We won't let MS-13 win." The Salvadoran government, however, calls the ban a blow to our people. A senior Trump official defended the policy, saying, "We must prioritize the safety of American citizens and ensure that our immigration system is not exploited by criminal elements." But here's the catch. Only 0.1% of Salvadoran immigrants have ties to gangs, per ICE data. So, is this policy targeting the wrong people? And if Carlos is sent back, will he be safe from the violence he fled? The roots of El Salvador's gang violence trace back to the country's brutal civil war in the 1980s, which displaced hundreds of thousands of Salvadorans. Many fled to the United States, where some, marginalized and struggling to adapt, became involved in gangs like MS-13. These gangs were later exported back to El Salvador through deportations, exacerbating the violence Carlos and others now flee. Take Maria, for example, a Salvadoran immigrant who arrived in the U.S. as a teenager. Today, she runs a successful cleaning business in Los Angeles, employing 6 people and volunteering at a local youth center to mentor at-risk teens. Her story is one of resilience and contribution, far removed from the gang narrative often highlighted. Yet, for deportees like Carlos, returning to El Salvador is fraught with danger. Reintegration is difficult due to limited job opportunities and the ever-present threat of violence. According to a 2023 report by Human Rights Watch, deportees are often targeted by gangs, and many face extortion or worse upon their return. So, as we consider the fate of 1.4 million Salvadoran immigrants, we must ask, is a policy focused on a tiny fraction of gang-affiliated individuals worth the human cost? And what does it mean for people like Carlos and Maria, whose lives hang in the balance? The answers are coming up in our conclusion. Number 9, Haiti. Let's turn to Haiti, a country devastated by natural disasters and poverty. Marie, a nurse, came to the U.S. after the 2010 earthquake and now works in a hospital. She's one of about 700,000 Haitian immigrants in America. According to the American Community Survey, Haitian immigrants have a poverty rate of 20%, but their employment rate is 75%. Trump's order claims that Haiti is unstable, and he said, "We can't take in the whole world." The Haitian government calls the ban discriminatory and cruel. But the numbers show that Haitian immigrants are vital to the healthcare industry, with 15% working as nurses or aides. So, is this ban hurting America's own workforce? And if Marie is deported, will she be able to survive in a country still recovering from disaster? Haitian immigration to the U.S. has a long history, dating back to the 18th century when many fled political instability and economic hardship. Today, Haitian immigrants are not just workers. They are entrepreneurs. In cities like Miami, Haitian-owned businesses generate over $500 million annually, creating jobs and strengthening local economies. Consider Jean, a Haitian immigrant who arrived in the U.S. with little to his name. Through hard work, he earned a medical degree and now runs a clinic serving underserved communities. His journey reflects the resilience and determination that many Haitian immigrants bring to America. Culturally, Haitian immigrants have enriched the U.S. with their music, art, and cuisine. Over 1 million people in the U.S. speak Haitian Creole, and Haitian festivals are celebrated nationwide. Yet, despite these contributions, many face discrimination and live in fear of deportation. For Marie, deportation isn't just a personal tragedy. It's a loss for the hospital and patients who rely on her care. Her story underscores the human cost of immigration policies. Are we valuing the contributions of immigrants like Marie, or letting fear guide our decisions? Let's find out. Number 8. Cuba. Now, Cuba, a nation with a complex history with the U.S. Luis, a musician, came to America seeking freedom and now faces deportation, along with around 1.3 million Cuban immigrants. According to the Pew Research Center, Cuban immigrants have a median income of $45,000 and are deeply integrated into American society. The Cuban Revolution in 1959 marked the beginning of a significant wave of immigration to the U.S., as many fled the communist regime seeking political asylum and economic opportunities. The wet foot, dry foot policy, in place from 1995 to 2017, allowed Cuban immigrants who reached U.S. soil to stay, shaping the Cuban-American community until its repeal by President Obama. Luis, a talented musician, came to America to escape censorship and express his art freely. His music, a fusion of traditional Cuban rhythms like sun and American jazz, symbolizes the cultural exchange between the two nations. However, if deported, he may face persecution for his politically charged lyrics, which often criticize the Cuban government. Trump's administration argues that Cuba is a communist threat, with the president tweeting, "We won't let socialism take root here." The Cuban government condemns the order as imperialist. But here's the surprise. Cuban immigrants have one of the highest naturalization rates, with 60 coming U.S. citizens, thanks in part to the Cuban Adjustment Act of 1966, which allows them to apply for permanent residency after 1 year in the U.S. So why target them now? And if Luis is sent back, will he face persecution for his music? Cuban immigrants have made significant contributions to the U.S. economy, with a high rate of business ownership, particularly in Florida. Their entrepreneurial spirit has led to the creation of over 150,000 small businesses, generating billions in revenue and countless jobs for local communities. Cuban music, dance, and cuisine have enriched American culture. Salsa, mambo, and the iconic Cuban sandwich, layered with ham, pork, and pickles, have become beloved across the nation, showcasing the vibrant legacy of Cuban heritage. Many Cuban Americans are politically active, with figures like Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz serving as U.S. senators and influencing immigration policies. Their advocacy reflects the community's deep ties to the American political landscape. "We came to America seeking freedom and opportunity," says Maria, a Cuban immigrant and small business owner who fled Cuba in the 1980s. "We've worked hard to build a better life for ourselves and our families. Deporting us now would be a betrayal of the American dream." For Luis, deportation could mean more than losing his home. It could mean facing imprisonment or worse in Cuba, where his music is seen as an act of resistance. His story is just one of many, as Cuban immigrants continue to shape the U.S. in profound ways. The tension is rising as we move to the next country. Number 7. Sudan. Let's look at Sudan, a country recovering from decades of conflict. Omar, an engineer, fled the violence and now works on infrastructure projects in the U.S. He's one of approximately 70,000 Sudanese immigrants, many of whom are highly educated. According to the Migration Policy Institute, 55% of Sudanese immigrants hold a college degree. Trump's order cites Sudan's history of terrorism, with the president stating, "We must be vigilant." The Sudanese government, however, calls the ban a setback for bilateral relations. But the data tells a different story. Sudanese immigrants have a crime rate of just 0.4%, and their contributions to engineering and technology are significant. So, Is this ban necessary, or is it based on outdated fears? And what will happen to Omar if he's forced to leave? Consider Aisha, who arrived as a child escaping Sudan's second civil war. Now a teacher in Chicago, she inspires students with her story of perseverance, bridging cultures with her bilingual skills. Her path highlights the diverse talents Sudanese immigrants bring to America. Sudan's past is scarred by decades of unrest, from civil wars to the Darfur crisis. The 2011 secession of South Sudan offered hope, yet instability lingers. For many like Omar and Aisha, the U.S. became a refuge to start anew. Their influence extends beyond work. Sudanese cuisine, like full medams and kisra, delights with its communal spirit, while Sudanese jazz blends African and Arab rhythms, echoing in American cities. Cultural festivals celebrate this heritage, enriching local communities. Far from the dangerous label, Sudanese immigrants show peace through action. Initiatives like the Sudanese American Peace Initiative promote dialogue and service, reinforcing their low crime rate and commitment to harmony. For Omar, deportation risks unraveling his American life, thrusting him back to a fragile Sudan. These stories urge us to see beyond fear, recognizing the profound value Sudanese immigrants offer. Number 6. Yemen. Next, Yemen, a nation torn apart by civil war. Khalid, a small business owner, came to the U.S. to escape the conflict. He's one of about 80,000 Yemeni immigrants, many of whom run bodegas and restaurants in cities like New York. According to the Small Business Administration, Yemeni immigrants own over 10,000 businesses in the U.S. Trump's administration points to Yemen's instability, with the president saying, "We can't let people from war zones into our country." The Yemeni government, embroiled in its own battles, has yet to comment. But here's the twist. Yemeni immigrants have one of the lowest crime rates among immigrant groups, at just 0.3%. So why target them? And if Khalid is sent back, will his business and his American dream survive? Yemeni immigration to the U.S. dates back to the 1960s, with many settling in urban areas like New York's Bronx, where they've revitalized neighborhoods through their bodegas and restaurants. These businesses, often open 24/7, have become lifelines for local communities, providing jobs and essential services. Take Ahmed, for example, a Yemeni immigrant who started with a small bodega and now owns a chain of grocery stores employing over 50 people. His success story reflects the entrepreneurial spirit of Yemeni immigrants, who contribute billions to the U.S. economy annually. Culturally, Yemeni immigrants have enriched American cuisine with dishes like shawarma and falafel, while Yemeni coffee, known for its unique flavor, has influenced coffee trends, with beans from Yemen's highlands highly sought after by specialty roasters. Yet, the travel ban has taken a toll. Over 10,000 Yemeni Americans have been separated from family members, unable to reunite due to visa restrictions. "It's heartbreaking," says Fatima, a Yemeni immigrant whose husband remains stuck in Yemen. Despite the narrative of fear, Yemeni immigrants are among the most peaceful communities. A NYPD official recently stated, "Yemeni immigrants are not a threat. They're part of the fabric of our city." Their low crime rate, 0.3%, stands as a testament to their commitment to peace and prosperity. For Khalid, deportation would mean losing not just his business but the community he's built. Number 5. Somalia. Now, Somalia, a country plagued by famine and terrorism. Amina, a nurse, fled the violence and now works in a U.S. hospital. She's one of roughly 150,000 Somali immigrants in America, many concentrated in Minnesota. According to the Census Bureau, Somali immigrants have a poverty rate of 50%, but their employment rate is rising. Trump's order claims that Somalia is a safe haven for radicals, and he's vowed to keep America safe from radical Islam. The Somali government, struggling to maintain control, calls the ban unfair and counterproductive. But here's the data. Somali immigrants have a crime rate lower than the national average at 1.8%, according to the FBI. So, is this about security or something else? And if Amina is deported, will she survive in a country where Al-Shabaab still operates? The story of Somali immigrants in the U.S. began in earnest during the 1990s, when civil war and famine forced thousands to flee their homeland. Many found refuge in America, particularly in Minnesota, where they've built a vibrant community. Today, Minnesota is home to the largest Somali population in the country, with around 80,000 residents of Somali descent. Beyond Amina's work as a nurse, Somali immigrants are making their mark in various fields. In Minnesota, Somali-owned businesses, ranging from restaurants to tech startups, have revitalized neighborhoods and created jobs. Their entrepreneurial spirit is a testament to their resilience, with Somali entrepreneurs contributing millions to the local economy. Yet the road hasn't been easy. Many arrived with little more than hope, facing poverty, language barriers, and cultural differences. Despite these hurdles, their employment rate is climbing, with many finding work in essential industries like healthcare, manufacturing, and transportation. Number 4, Libya. Let's turn to Libya, a nation in chaos since 2011. Fatima, a teacher, came to the U.S. for safety and now faces deportation along with around 50,000 Libyan immigrants. According to the American Community Survey, Libyan immigrants have a median income of $60,000 and are often employed in education and engineering. Trump's administration cites national security concerns, with the president stating, "We can't take chances with countries that harbor radicals." Libya's fractured government has yet to respond, but local militias have warned of retaliation. Here's the catch. Only 0.2% of Libyan immigrants have been involved in criminal activity, per ICE reports. So, is this ban justified, or is it punishing the innocent? And what happens to Fatima if she's forced to return to a country with no stable government? Libya's turmoil began with the 2011 overthrow of Muammar Gaddafi, sparking a civil war that persists today. Rival factions and extremist groups have left the country without a unified government, driving many Libyans, like Fatima, to seek refuge abroad. Returning deportees face real dangers in this unstable environment. Among those thriving in the U.S. is Ahmed, a Libyan engineer who contributed to designing a key bridge in California. His work showcases the expertise Libyan immigrants bring, bolstering American infrastructure and local economies. Meanwhile, over 5,000 Libyan students enrich U.S. universities, excelling in STEM fields and shaping the future. Number 3, Syria. Now, Syria, a country ravaged by war. Ahmed, a doctor, escaped the conflict and rebuilt his life in the U.S., where he now saves lives in a hospital. He's one of about 100,000 Syrian immigrants in America, many of whom are refugees. According to UNHCR, 80% of Syrian immigrants in the U.S. are fleeing violence and persecution. Syrian immigrants have a high employment rate, with 70% working in skilled professions. But Trump's order doesn't distinguish between refugees and others. In a recent speech, he said, "We have to be tough on immigration to keep America safe." The Syrian government, meanwhile, remains silent, focused on its own internal struggles. But with Syria still engulfed in conflict, where will Ahmed go if deported? Will he be sent back to a war zone? And what about the contributions he's made to American healthcare? The Syrian civil war, which began in 2011, has displaced millions, creating one of the largest refugee crises in modern history. While the U.S. has accepted only a fraction of those displaced, Syrian immigrants like Ahmed have worked tirelessly to rebuild their lives, often facing language barriers, cultural differences, and the trauma of war. Consider Layla, a Syrian refugee who arrived in the U.S. with her family in 2015. A talented chef, she opened a small restaurant in Chicago, introducing Americans to Syrian dishes like kibbeh and fatish. Her business now employs 15 people, contributing to the local economy and fostering cultural exchange through food. Syrian immigrants are known for their entrepreneurial spirit. According to the Small Business Administration, Syrian Americans own over 10,000 businesses, generating billions in revenue and creating jobs nationwide. Many also pursue higher education, with a significant number holding advanced degrees and teaching at top U.S. universities. Culturally, Syrian immigrants enrich American society with their music, art, and traditions. Syrian oud players perform in concert halls, and artists exhibit works blending Middle Eastern and Western styles, showcasing the resilience and creativity of the Syrian diaspora. Yet, the threat of deportation looms large. For Ahmed, returning to Syria could mean imprisonment or death in a country still torn by conflict. His work in the U.S. healthcare system, where he's treated thousands of patients, would be lost, leaving a gap in a field already facing shortages. Number 2, Venezuela. Next, Venezuela, a nation in turmoil. Maria fled the economic collapse and political oppression, seeking refuge in the U.S. She's one of approximately 1.2 million Venezuelan immigrants now facing an uncertain future. The data shows that Venezuelan immigrants are highly skilled, with 45% holding professional or managerial positions, according to the Pew Research Center. But President Trump argues they're taking American jobs. He tweeted, "We must protect American workers first." The Venezuelan government, on the other hand, calls the order imperialist aggression. With Venezuela's economy in freefall, 90% of the population living in poverty, per the World Bank, what awaits Maria if she's sent back? Will she survive the crisis, or will she become another statistic? And here's the twist. Despite the rhetoric, Venezuelan immigrants have a lower unemployment rate than native-born Americans. So, is this really about jobs? Let's move on to the next country and find out more. Number 1, Iran. Let's begin with Iran, a nation with a rich history and a complicated relationship with the U.S. Meet Ali, a software engineer who came to America a decade ago. He built a life here, started a family, and contributed to the tech industry. But now, he's one of the estimated 1.5 million Iranian immigrants facing deportation. What does this mean for him and his family? According to the Migration Policy Institute, Iranian immigrants have a higher education rate than the average American, with 60% holding a bachelor's degree or higher. They've started businesses, paid taxes, and enriched our culture. Their median household income is $70,000, above the U.S. average. Yet, President Trump claims they're a threat. In his words, "We cannot allow people coming into this country who are going to cause harm." Meanwhile, the Iranian government has condemned the order as racist and inhumane. But here's the question. Will Ali and others like him be forced to leave, or will legal challenges save them? With Iranian immigrants having a crime rate of just 0.5%, according to FBI data, is this policy based on fear or fact? Stay tuned as we explore the next country on the list. See, according to me, every country has the right to protect its citizens, and whatever Trump is doing, he is doing for his country only. But the thing is that in the mill, the flour bug also gets crushed along with the wheat. What is your opinion? Please tell us in the comment below. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.